This guy cares about gangs? This man? Pictured here with Ghislaine Maxwell? This man? Besties? With Diddy?
The people of Britain from their tyrannical government, yes or no? The question was part of a series of...
For any British viewers, how's the sentiment in Britain right now with Musk basically demanding that he dismantle your entire government single-handedly? And then when he can't, immediately being like, well, that's because you're all pedophiles and you protect the grooming gangs. And I know so much about them now, which he does, after all. I mean, friends with Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh, don't forget about his close friendship with Diddy. Yeah, they apparently texted each other a ton. Diddy, one of the early investors in X, the Everything app. And one of the Everythings is investment money from Diddy. So he does know a little bit about grooming gangs, I guess, in that respect. There's that.
Of misinformation-filled posts on Musk's X social media platform that led the New York Times to report Musk, quote, appears intent on exercising the same influence in European countries that he did during the American presidential election, unquote. Over the past few days, Musk lashed out at the UK's Labour government, also trashed a UK politician he'd formerly backed, the anti-immigrant populist Nigel Farage, with the far-right Reform UK party. Musk's change of heart came after Farage refused to support the release from prison of far-right anti-immigrant Islamophobic activist Tommy Robinson. Meanwhile, Musk also falsely accused UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer of failing to prosecute child rapists and supported a post on X that urged King Charles to dissolve the British Parliament. And
I was curious what the Keir Starmer stuff was. Apparently his angle there is Jimmy Savile. If you know, the super fucking horrifying pedophile that worked for the BBC for a long time in Britain. He posted this video here that says connect the dots.
Like, now we've even got, what's his name? Keir Starmer, sir. That bastard excused Jimmy Savile. He's the one who signed off and said there wasn't
Savile. Yeah, that bastard. Bastard in a basket.
enough evidence. That bastard is going to be the prime minister. So a guy who literally, who signed off and said not enough evidence of the man what we now know, Sir Jimmy Savile, who raped 500, while being greeted by the Queen and, BBC covering. Keir Starmer, is this acceptable? I'll tell you what, I'd rather die in the fight than bow to that crap. Like that now we've...
Die in the fight. Bow to that bastard. Ah, bastard. When I was Googling up who were people in power who were close to Jimmy Savile, I mean... turns out it was Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher loved him. Jimmy's close friendship with Margaret Thatcher. Civil servants redact secret Downing Street following sexual assault revelations. They were besties. Apparently she was fighting and lobbying for him to be knighted, despite people warning her. I don't believe that's a good idea, Thatcher. We shouldn't be doing that. He seems to be a bit of a nonce, that man. Don't give him the Sir Jimmy. No, don't do that. No, silence. I decree. Yeah, so apparently Thatcher was...
call elections to remove the Labour government. This comes after Elon Musk also backed Germany's far-right anti-immigrant party, AfD, for next month's elections, and is set to host a live discussion on X with its candidate for chancellor. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz responded to Musk's endorsement, saying, quote, I don't believe in courting Mr. Musk's favor. I'm happy to leave that to others. The rule is don't feed the troll, he said. Her work.
I mean, just look at all the autocrats that hate editorial cartoonists. I mean, and not in this country, hopefully, but in, a lot of my colleagues overseas are thrown in jail for doing cartoons about powerful people. A lot of people don't realize that, we're journalists. We're opinion journalists, but we are journalists. And that is our job as editorial cartoonists, to bring up sometimes uncomfortable truths.
On Friday, Ann Talnace published an online post titled, Why I'm Quitting the Washington Post, in which she writes, quote, I will not stop holding truth to power through my cartooning because, as they say, democracy dies in darkness. Of course, she is citing the Washington Post's motto. This comes after Jeff Bezos prevented the Washington Post from endorsing Kamala Harris for president, and as Amazon's Prime Video service announced it's acquired exclusive licensing rights to a new behind-the-scenes documentary about First Lady Melania Trump. Amazon also plans to donate $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund and said it would stream the event on Prime Video as a separate in-kind donation worth another $1 million. For more, we spend the...
Oh, yeah, well, I counter with this.
Name 3 women.
Oh my god, name 3 women.
Name 3.
I'm not gonna name anyone that I'm personally.
Name 3 women. Name 3 girls.
Nice, got it. Name 3 girls. Why?
You're on the timer. There's a time. There's literally a timer going on right now.
I really don't care.
There's a timer. We're gonna see 3 women.
Why should I name a specific woman? I don't understand that.
Name
I'm not into
3
people.
women.
Why?
I'll name 3. Britney Spears, Miranda Cosgrove, Sabrina Carpenter. Boom.
Oh yeah, she's such a... Yeah, sure. Britney Spears is a major inspiration.
I didn't say she was inspiration. I just named a woman, which you can't do.
I can name a woman. I just want
name
to
3 women, bro. Name 3 of them.
What is this? What does this thing do? There's a portal here. What does it do?
I'm so glad people can't vote for you, bro.
That's Connor Eats Pants. Not really familiar with this game. At least I think myself and most like non-Fortnite players probably weren't up until the Adrian Dittman stream, which was fucking hilarious. Oh my god. And if you don't know, Adrian Dittman, Elon Musk or Adrian Dittman, it was a long time rumor that apparently they are one and the same. It could be that he is Elon Musk. It could be that it is an Elon Musk super fan who uses an AI voice generator, of which you could sound identical to Elon Musk. There's some people who've done an investigation. We're going to get into that investigation. Going to go into it. It doesn't change the fact that it was funny. It was very funny. And Connor's very, very good at what he does, at making this Adrian Dittman fool look like a fool. Because oh my god, the clown shoes on display. Like, I watched it and I just loved moment to moment how embarrassing it was for Adrian Dittman to be in this. I don't know why you put yourself through this outside of, like, I guess some people just love to be embarrassed on the internet. That's their thing. For me, I would be mortified. I would have to just take like a year off, hoping everyone forgot about the whole Connor Eats Pants stream, and then slowly try to ease my way back into public eye and be like, yeah, that never happened. But no, some people just love it. This was one of many very embarrassing moments that occurred. I also love that every single time that he was like flummoxed, he would then try to resort to like pretending that the very complexities of Fortnite were suddenly confusing him. It's like, hey, name 3 women. What's up with this portal? An unusual moment. So, what just to say, a rifle of some sort to equip it, I suppose. No, name 3 women, and any 3 women. Not. This is not a gotcha. Come on, anything, do it, please. That was one of the funnier parts. I mean, you can send me your highlights. I have a few of them, my personal favorites.
And like be a fan of like myself, and like make myself seem cooler than I actually am.
Oh my god.
That was like what I would do. I'd be like Connor Eats Pants fan 32.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, a little sad but funny.
Yeah, I never did anything like that.
I didn't think you did. You smoke? And I was...
Oh, you Zoomers are ruthless. Ruthless. Don't go toe-to-toe with the Zoomers. So, some people did some investigative reporting, journalism, if you will. After days of speculation that ex-owner Elon Musk was secretly posting under the account name Adrian Dittman, new evidence suggests that Dittman is in fact a real person living in Fiji. Attempts to connect Dittman and Musk go back to at least 2023. Dittman frequently makes fawning posts about Musk, and his voice, as heard in numerous X spaces, sounds quite similar. But a story in The Spectator appears to have identified the real Dittman, the son of a German software entrepreneur who started multiple companies in Fiji. This Dittman included the Fijian government video of a recent warehouse opening. Hacker and writer Maya Arsen Krimu subsequently took credit for working with Ray Fay to track Dittman down. In a blog post, they offered more detailed evidence that Dittman in Fiji is the Dittman on X. For one thing, the Dittman in the warehouse video appears to be wearing the same ring as the one featured in multiple cooking videos that had been posted and subsequently deleted on X. Krimu wrote that the Spectator article was not very good and that the pair was unhappy with how our work was used without credit. So I will use the original work in its totality. This is from Maya blog. Maya uses its pronouns. The Adrian Dittman story, the evidence from A to Z, and the writings of the wrongs. Here's the deal. Adrian Dittman is not Elon Musk, and we have concrete evidence. This began as a story with Jackie Sweet, a freelance journalist with history writing for The Intercept, Mother Jones, and so on. We found the initial lead and presented it to Jackie, but she was ultimately agreed by our byliner, the actual writer for the story, the sole contributor for being credited in the space under the title, and the one being paid for in the piece. As such, Jackie got to choose the outlet that we pitched to, and we ended up writing the article in the US edition of the right-wing Spectator. The arguably poorly presented cutout graphics and information crucial to the investigation, and crucially did not give credit to us. Here's the evidence in full, including a significant amount the Spectator missed, and how things fell apart from our point of view. It starts on December 29th, when Adrian Dittman was making a resurgence on X, formerly Twitter, and joined a space sounding like Elon Musk. He'd long been accused of being Musk and an alternative account by folks on all sides of the political spectrum, including by the journalists at InfoWars, who called him not Elon Musk in headlines and interviewed him multiple times. He also called into Alex Jones's show, and I remember Alex Jones didn't know what to do with the whole thing. He was just really kind of like out of his league. He was just sitting there, I don't really know what's going on. I mean, you sound a lot like Elon. Maybe you're not Elon. I don't know. But it's apparently Elon Musk is calling it a show, everybody. This is a really big moment for me. On the 29th, Maya researched his name in a tool that scans through public data breaches, mass release of hack information that includes emails, phone numbers, and names, and discovered that Adrian Dittman in a breach of AI photo editing software called Cutout Pro, connecting the email to an IP address. The IP address roughly geolocated to Fiji, and the email gave us more to work with. Its Google profile picture appears to show the account's owner, who appears young, and his partner on Google Maps has reviewed a restaurant in Denaro Island in western Fiji. Of course, at this point, we didn't know if this was the same Adrian Dittman as one on X. We kept his, in mind his face, location, and a few extra cues, and dug up his tool using this, including phone numbers that have all been redacted, of course, for obvious reasons. In search of the Adrian Dittman X account shows correlative evidence. The account operator claimed in June 2023 to be German. Here's a link. And claimed in July 2023 to have grown up in Gibraltar and to have lived in Morocco, but currently resides in Oceania. There. Multiple screenshots showing the X account time zone information aligned with the Oceania statement prior to the Fiji identification, which one shows up in Business Insider Dateline time zones. Another shows the next post, made to Dittman with the timestamp at 2030. Here's the two links. These align with the time zone of the far eastern Russia, New Zealand, and some other countries in Oceania, including Fiji. The level of sleuthing, by the way, it's pretty wild. Like if you're gonna keep a internet track record like this, and then have people, I guess, I don't know, investigating you, tracking you down. It's pretty incredible how much details they can unearth, even if you've been deleting posts and trying to do your best to keep everything clean. A scan of commercial people search websites only showed one Dittman family living entirely in the time zone, which gave us a tentative conclusion. The email and X belonged to the same Adrian Dittman, but such websites rely on incomplete databases scraped mostly from digital activity, and it's very common to miss people. Instead, we search for a concrete link. A common strategy in investigative journalism is to run with alternative links until you can't find any more, either by not finding data at all, rendering the investigation inconclusive, or finding data that conclusively proves or disproves the link. It's a method that isn't foolproof to mental cherry picking or similar fallacies, but it would do here. We decided to follow the social media trail. Maya had found that a Google keyword search for Dittman's name and supposed country Fiji brought up the private Instagram account under that name. When considering how to continue the investigation, Maya decided to talk to the aforementioned Jackie Sweet, who's notable for her work in social media investigations. Jackie quickly found a public Facebook account with the same name and an edited and zoomed in version of the profile picture. After a later request for comment, the Facebook account was wiped up and his profile picture was re-uploaded to make it appear new. Prior to deletion, however, it had one photo of Dittman and his partner facing another trip to the Philippines, where his partner appears to be from. It isn't clear if they're the same people from the Google profile picture. Jackie found the Dittman X account had indeed referred to a significant other before they made multiple AI-generated images resembling her, describing it in the comments as a Filipino, just more from the Spanish side. So here's the post. Your imagination is only as precise as your perception. Take the perceive and describe it. Take something as captivating as your significant other and form the curves and details of that person into poetry. Abstraction is powerful. Love is everything, which is why I made an AI-generated image of my partner. Someone posted something, but they've been suspended. Nope, that's Filipino, just more from the Spanish side. Keep in mind, all of this has been wiped from X, the Everything app. Everything except for this link. You can't post even the link to it. You will get that link taken down. And the account by Maya, it has been deleted. And so there's that as well. And even the original post that Elon Musk responded to, saying that I am actually Adrian Dittman, it's time for the world to know. It links to a deleted post now. So I don't know what that says. That's just speculation. Like what I do is rubbish compared to what the investigative journalists are doing behind the scenes to try and unearth all this truth. There's nothing conclusive, but it doesn't disprove anything either. Tracing back a bit, however, the Instagram profile had another clue. The account repeatedly collaborated, posted with a number of other accounts, including one appearing to belong to his partner, another appearing to belong to his brother, both under the Dittman surname, and a couple belonging to the Fijian water company Aquam Insula. The corporate ladder, lo and behold, Jackie found the opening of Aquam Insula's maritime lifestyle warehouse and Denaro Island. B-roll footage from a recorded speech by the president in Fiji shows Adrian Dittman and his partner in the foreground. In the recording, we find the conclusive link. Adrian has a ring on his left finger, above link, matching the same left ring that appeared in multiple cooking videos and streams that he posted to X before deleting those videos when he wanted to simply be known as Elon Musk. Another conclusive link within an hour following the email by Jackie on January 1st. The original email address discovered in Cutout Pro breach mentioned the cooking videos. A significant amount of these cooking videos and streams were deleted from Dittman's X account. The analytics platform Social Blade documents his total posts decreased by 38 that day, a stark outlier compared to the usual increase. The point of the investigation, all links that we found were a match, but there still is one end missing. Any indication that the Fijian could be from Gibraltar. And yes, tracking that from the corporate ladder, there is. Aquam Insula, the aforementioned water company Dittman is associated with, a subsidiary of Totoka Island, whose sister company Framesoft, which is primary registration being in Fiji, a UK branch, registered the condominium in Gibraltar. The CEO is of German nationality, as Dittman has been shown to be, and he shares the same Dittman surname. The publication went down. When Jackie, responsible for the writing and pitching, decided to go to the Spectator's U.S. branch for publication of choice, we naively went along with it. As part of the conditions from the start, we would get appropriate credit for our work on this piece, even outside of the byline. But that didn't happen. Jackie asked us how we wanted to be credited a few hours before the piece went live, and she told us that she had initialized statements below from the article body describing that we contributed to the research. We were fine with that, yet the article went live, and as we, once again, naively shared it around on social media before having read it, we came to realize that we were neither credited in the piece nor in the social media posts. This, I would say, is something, considering how talented all of you are, you should have done before posting the link. I would go through the article first and see how much credited for you. Not surprising that they would take the credit out and try to pretend it. I mean, it's the Spectator. that one doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But really greasy of the Spectator to have done that when all the research was clearly done here. And yeah, it's pretty impressive, to say the least. According to Jackie, the Spectator decided to remove the line describing our contributions without informing her, citing Maya's notoriety at the publication for the removal of its name and giving no reason for the removal of Ryan's. But they still published most of the rest of the article as is, minus at least one image that would have served as the visual evidence, apparently blindly trusting the research of those names they couldn't bear to keep in the final article. Some blame may also lie with Jackie. The article rather poorly presents the research above, leaving our critical evidence, including many in visual form, and making it difficult to follow our reasoning. In short, we don't think the article is very good, and we're unhappy with how our work was used without credit, but despite not being proud of the piece, Maya's post remains up, as does Ryan's statement. We believe that credit is a crucial part of journalism and is research as a whole, and by leveraging popularity around the article's release is the only way to bring attention to it, so be it. 11 hours after publishing the piece, links to the original Spectator piece were blocked, and at least X accounts of Maya, Ryan, and Jackie were suspended for 30 days. No rule was cited for the suspension. If you enjoyed this or any of the other work, feel free to support me on Ko-Fi. This is my main source of income, so anything that goes a long way. And monthly contributions tremendously help my budgeting. Here's the link to the Ko-Fi. But the sad reality is this. Adrian Dittman may in fact not be Elon Musk. Despite every fiber of my body, not only wanting to believe it, because the memes in and of themselves are pretty epic, despite a lot of evidence pointing towards it being that, you know, there's a lot of Reddit activity by Adrian Dittman's account, including revealing that Adrian Dittman actually has powers within Twitter, administrative powers. Those are all true. The truth of the matter is that Adrian Dittman is someone who is associated with Elon Musk and has been given and granted special powers by Elon Musk, and showing their close association between the two of them has wanted Elon Musk or someone who works at Twitter to block any revelations of this story and their connections. That part is entirely true. I mean, there's something for everyone here. Elon Musk does have associations with Adrian Dittman, but they are not one and the exact same person. And that part is sad to me because it makes the cringe of Adrian Dittman's almost his own, just his own. That part, unfortunately, like, Adrian Dittman is cringe, as is Elon Musk. And that in and of itself feels like a connection because they're both extremely cringe people and they both do some real cringe shit online. And so that is not, unfortunately, in terms of journalism, enough to form a conclusive connection. You know, as a person who does care about facts and science and math and data and reality, I unfortunately have to accept the very hard truth here. That this one does hurt. It does, because I like the narrative that they are one and the same human and that Elon is just that sad. But I grant you this, he's still sad as fuck. He's still unbelievably cringe. He's still unbelievably pathetic. He still has time to cheat in Diablo 4 and do all the ketamine in the world and pretend that he actually deserves like 400 times the pay of his employees, while at the same time really just being terrible at everything he does. That's all real. And that remains to be real. He's still aligning himself with far-right fascists. And even though there is all this controversy surrounding the H-1B visa program in the US, what that comes down to is the fact that billionaires, rich people, they want to exploit workers. And they don't care if the workers are American. They don't care about the idea of America insofar as they can continue to stay rich underneath its protection. That's what they love. And so they want immigrants to come over to the country, even if they pay them like what seems to be very high wages, $100,000, $150,000 a year. They get to pay them less than they would pay an American-born worker who might be making $150,000 to $250,000 a year. So that's why they love that shit. It's not because they suddenly love immigration. It's not that they are suddenly more tolerant. It's not that they suddenly care more about people who do not have white skin being able to code. And that's why there was a huge fight between Elon Musk and all of the Nazis that he's basically curated as his new fan base. They actually care about, you know, all the racist shit they talk about. And so they were very upset at the fact that, you know, Elon Musk was like, I will go to war over this issue. We must defend the H-1B visa program. And that caused a massive rip between him, a lot of the very far-right MAGA members, a lot of the fucking, you know, the neo-Nazis who are just doing all that kind of shit. That is all real as well. And that's the reason why. He wants to exploit workers. He doesn't care where they come from. If he can exploit workers from other countries at a better fucking, you know, value, then he's going to do that. And that's why it suddenly seems like he cares about this issue. And that's why people like, say, Bernie Sanders were coming forward and saying the problem with this is not an issue of you know, us allowing immigrants to come into America and work. It's us allowing immigrants to come to America and work for less, with less rights, with less worker rights, with less worker protections. So if we want to do things like this, we should still treat them as human beings and give them adequate pay and benefits, etc. You shouldn't be able to suddenly treat someone more poorly simply because they come from another country. We do the same thing here in Canada with our immigrant worker program. In fact, it was so bad that it was you know, reviewed as modern day slavery because a lot of companies were bringing in and importing huge amounts of immigrants to work for their companies and not giving them benefits, not giving them much pay, forcing people to live in small apartments with 10 plus human beings inside very small quarters, stuff like that. But Trudeau, instead of actually, you know, improving the program and being like, okay, well, this is abhorrent, I agree, what we should do is we should actually give all these workers better benefits and better rights, instead decided, you know what, we're just going to shut the program down and close the doors because it got too out of control. And that's where the nuance of the whole discussion comes to. So less labor protections. That's why there was a big rift between the far right MAGAs and the Musk. And Adrian Dittman just got caught in the cringe crossfire. it would appear. That seems to be where all going to it. He knows exactly what he's doing. He is trying to do everything in his power to, again, increase and maintain his wealth and power. It doesn't matter if he is inciting, racial hatred, vilifying minorities, getting people very mad. He doesn't care about that shit. All that matters to him is to, again, continue to concentrate power to himself and his other rich allies. The shitty thing is that so many people bought into his nonsense. There's so many people, especially, I mean, almost all on the right, who just feel that like Elon Musk is some kind of free speech, space Karen superhero who's now just trying to change the world and make them available, crypto bros. The age of the crypto bro is rising. The Bitcoin is so high, Doge is so high, all these cryptocurrencies are doing so well, and Musk is your guy. He unblocks the Nazis, he unbans the Nazis, he gets them in positions of media power where they have very large voices. So that's a reality that is happening while he spreads a whole bunch of rumors. Now, this article is from 4 years ago, but this is not one of the shocking things to me was seeing how angry everyone was getting about Tommy Robinson and so-called grooming gangs in the UK when this was an old thing. The vilification of immigrants to the UK, saying they are overwhelmingly rapists and committing vile acts and acts of organized grooming and predatory attacks. That's stuff that Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, was pushing years ago, and it was getting a lot of traction. Obviously, everyone should call out child abuse. Everyone should call out predators.
Clean up your room.
Everyone should call out grooming gangs. Everyone should be calling them out. Of course, absolutely. No one's on the other side of that issue. It's just, it seems as if a lot of these people are only focusing on when it happens by non-white folk. And that seems to be just the angle. That was always Tommy Robinson's thing. It was like, yeah, I want to talk to you about child predators. Okay. Do you mean like yourself? If you didn't know this, Tommy Robinson sexually harassed a 15-year-old online. I have the evidence. I can show it to you in a couple minutes. No one talks about that issue, though, and that's fucked up. Don't do that. That's horrifying. The majority of pedophiles and child sex offenders in the UK are white. The overwhelming majority are. I have the data as well to show you on that issue. That doesn't mean that I've got their twisted minds, and I think that being white somehow inherently is going to make you more likely to commit, child abuse. That's the weird twisted version that they're doing and trying to apply here, even though the data doesn't back it up. The majority of child abusers and child sex offenders are people who are in close proximity to children, family and friends. That happens just to be the reality. It's fucked up. It sucks. But that's what people should be telling others if they want to protect people from child groomers and predators, is that, hey, just make sure that everyone is aware of this fact. The more people who know about this and the more awareness we spread about this, the less likely children are to be abused. It doesn't matter what color their skin is. That part shouldn't be important, because if you're doing that, that seems like you're really more concerned about being racist and vilifying different groups to try and push your own agenda, which is what Tommy Robinson does, which is why he's a horrifying human, which is why no one should be giving him the time of day. Majority of child sexual abuse gangs are made up of white men under the age of 30, an official paper said. The report, which covers England, Scotland, and Wales, has summarized a range of studies on the issue of group-based child sexual exploitation, also known as CSE, also known as grooming gangs, said there's not enough evidence to conclude that child sexual abuse gangs were disproportionately made up of Asian offenders. High-profile cases include Rotherham, Rochdale, and Telford have involved groups of men, mainly Pakistani ethnicity, fueling a perception that it is a, quote, Asian problem. As a result, the Asian grooming games have become a cause célèbre for far-right, a number of high-profile figures mounting campaigns across the country. The Home Office paper into the characteristics of such gangs, first promised by the former Home Secretary Sajid Javid in 2018, says that some studies show a possible overrepresentation of Black and Asian offenders. It is not possible to conclude this representative of all grooming gangs. The review was published after criticism that victims of child abuse had been failed because the fear of accusation of racism. It said research has found that group-based child sexual exploitation offenders are most commonly white. Some studies suggest an overrepresentation of Black and Asian offenders relative to the demographics of the national population. However, it is not possible to conclude that this is representative of all group-based CSE offending. This is due to issues such as data quality problems, that way that samples were selected in the studies, and the potential for bias and inaccuracies in the way the ethnicity data is collected. It found that while some offenders come from diverse backgrounds, groups tended to be men of the same ethnicity, money and sex for motivations as well as sexual interest in children and misogyny, the review said. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, said the paper demonstrates how difficult it has been to draw conclusions about the characteristics of offenders. Sarah Champion, MP for Rotherham, said has long campaigned on the issue. Going forward, I want to see a nationally recognized and approved set of triggers that once met require local authorities to provide support for children showing signs of harm, rather than the current postcode lottery when it comes for help. Finally, the government must accept that children are vulnerable because they are children. However, children's vulnerabilities would never be exposed without perpetrators looking to exploit them. All children deserve protection of the state, and appropriate resources must be found to allow that. Another article from a year ago. Inaccurate grooming gang claims putting children at risk, say Sunak and Braverman. Politicians who make inaccurate or divisive claims about child sexual abuse and grooming games undermine the effort to tackle crime and almost certainly make children less safe. Organizations and experts in the subject have warned in an unprecedented joint letter. The letters, signed by 50 researchers and more than a dozen organizations, include the NSPCC and Victim Support, urges Suella Braverman and Rishi Sunak to avoid narratives on abuse based on misinformation, racism, and division. It follows much criticized comments by Braverman, the Home Secretary, who has repeatedly characterized the so-called grooming gangs targeting vulnerable girls as predominantly British-Pakistani problem, one based on cultural values. The letter, which notes from the Home Office's own research has contradicted Braverman's views, calls for evidence-based approach in the light of the Government Commission Independent Inquiry into Child Sexual Abuse, or the IICSA, rather than one based on short-term media cycles. To this end, we urgently ask all politicians to refrain from making partial, inaccurate, or divisive claims about child sexual abuse. Doing so undermines attempts to ensure policymaking is evidence-based, fair, and inclusive. Many recent political announcements and accompanying media discussions have fallen short in this regard, perpetrating misinformation, racism, and division. The letter sent to Sunak and Braverman on Thursday warned placing a, quote, singular focus on a group of male abusers of British-Pakistani origin draws attention away from so many other sources of harm. It added, whether the intention behind these partial narratives, children will almost certainly feel less safe as a result. A Home Office report in 2020 on group-based child exploitation found that a majority of offenders were young white men, and that it was not possible to conclude whether any particular ethnic group was disproportionately represented. Despite this, Braverman has said almost all of the members of grooming gangs, a term itself seen by many child protection professionals as legally meaningless, as tainted by racism. And Musk is still doing this now. Now it's reached American shores, thanks to Elon Musk. And again, Elon Musk, a man who has in the past had his own fucking... This guy cares about grooming gangs? This man? Pictured here with Ghislaine Maxwell? This man? Besties? With Diddy? Elon Musk boasted about Diddy friendship in private after the rapper invested in X. Quote, we text a lot. I fail to believe that he actually cares about grooming gangs. Kind of seems like he cares about one particular kind of grooming gang. And of course, no one's on the other side of any group that is abusing children. They're all monsters. It doesn't matter what the color of their skin is. Yeah, it does matter if they happen to be from Pakistan. It doesn't matter if they happen to be UK born. They're all fucking vile monsters and should be condemned. I condemn them all. Very easy. But it seems like everybody who's hyper-focusing now on... I'm seeing all these random numbers pop up too. People being like, apparently, thousands of young white girls in the UK have been abused. And the next, it's like tens of thousands of young white girls in the UK have been abused. Hundreds of thousands of young white girls. Millions. And you're just, wait, where are you getting these numbers? Have you actually looked at the data? Is the data representational of this? Is this a problem uniquely to immigrants who are coming to the UK and then abusing children? Anyone who abuses children is a problem. Anyone. What does the data say? Table 4, proportion of defendants proceeded against for child sexual abuse offenses and the general population by ethnic group, England and Wales, because of course they had to do this, but here we are. Offense category, defendants processed against for child sexual abuse offenses in 2022, white British, 83%, total 88%. I don't think based on this data that white people are predisposed to being child rapists. I don't. Because that's not how you read this kind of data. I know the 1350 crowd, the racists, love to do that, but I'm not going to do it in the inverse. I don't think that this data shows you conclusively that white people are just predisposed to being pedophiles. That's not what the data shows. It's showing you that people who are committing these offenses, being arrested for it, and then being tried for it, are disproportionately white, even by ratio of the population. The population of white people in England is not 88%. So they are overrepresented in the amount of people who are committing these offenses. But that doesn't mean that it has anything to do with the color of their skin, because race is a social construct. And so there's no such thing as if you have white skin, you are suddenly going to be more predisposed to being a pedophile. The majority of offenders happen to be people in close proximity to children. friends and family. Once again, doesn't matter if it is in Canada, in the US, in the UK, that is what the data shows. If you care about protecting children, if you care about keeping them safe, let people know this. Let people know these like facts, and stop dividing this by race and trying to be like, well, I mean, how many black offenders were there? Well, what's the percentage of the population of black people, and how many of them offended? What about brown people? What about people from Pakistan? How many people from Pakistan versus how many people they raped? What does that tell you? That you're a racist. That's all it tells me. It tells me that you're a racist. Because why are you doing this? Why is that the important factor to you? Why is it like, well, I want to know, though. I want to know how many people from Pakistan are raping kids. Why? Isn't the problem the second part of that sentence, the raping kids? And shouldn't be stopping the abuse of children be the goal here? Not figuring out what is their blood quantum? Again, that just is racism. You just want to say that it's evil people from other countries that are doing it. Asian, 7%, Indian, 1%, Pakistani, 2%, Bangladeshi, 1%, Chinese, 0%, any other Asian background, 2%, Black, 3%, African, 1%, Caribbean, 1%, any other background, 1%, mixed or multiple, white and Asian, this entire category is 2%, any other mixed background, 1%. Again, white people, 88%. That does not show you that white people are predisposed to being pedophiles. That's not what the data tells you, okay? You can't do it in the inverse either. But please, for the love of God, stop doing this thing where people just take Elon Musk's posts and they suddenly see like, why is no one talking about this? Only Tommy Robinson had the bravery to talk. Jordan Peterson in Canada was doing that. He was quote tweeting the videos of Tommy Robinson and being like, "Whoa, Bucko, look at this brave man talking about all of the brown rapists. Thank God someone had the courage to speak up. That's why he's in jail." No, that's not why he's in jail. He's in jail for contempt of court. Can you, one of you, please, Google this. Yahoo search, DuckDuckGo, anything. Just 2 seconds. Don't look at the tweet and get mad and then be like, "I'm really upset about this quote tweet. Share. More people must know about the Pakistani rapist gangs." No. The thing that you always talk about, do your research and go do that. And why is Tommy Robinson in jail? It's not because he told the truth. It's not because they silenced him. It's not because he was like, there are grooming gangs and the grooming gangs aren't white. Oh my God. My head said, arrest this man. No, that's not what happened. It's not true at all. Also, Tommy Robinson's a monster. He's gross. Here. Elon Musk reposts Riley Gaines, free Tommy Robinson after Jordan Peterson exploding over the hushed-up mass rapes in the UK. Tommy Robinson exposed this and he's now rotting in jail for exposing the rape gang. That's not why he's in there. By the way, the guy sexually harassed a 15-year-old. You don't believe me, you say? I will show you. Here it is. Content warning. A man sexually harassing a 15-year-old. Tommy Robinson tweets, "You're pretty fit for a Muslim." Responds, "I'm 15 and you got the cheek to call Muslims pedos." Tommy Robinson responds to that, "How's it feel to be nearly twice the age Aisha was when your prophet raped her?" Tommy Robinson responds again, not happy enough with that. "Muhammad was 56, Aisha was 9. Now stop flirting with me." And gets the response, "A dog wouldn't even lick you, never mind an actual human flirting with you. Stop now, you've embarrassed yourself enough." This was an interaction with the 15-year-old by Tommy Robinson. So-called child predator discoverer exposer. Happens to be a child predator himself. Why does this keep happening? In May 2012, the then 29-year-old Lennon took the time to sexually harass. Yes, he's one of those people who doesn't use his real name. He uses many other names. Yes, Nicolas Cage, his real name is Nicholas Coppola, except Nicolas Cage doesn't sexually harass 15-year-olds. So yes, Tommy Robinson is not actually Tommy Robinson. But either way, the 29-year-old Lennon took the time to sexually harass a 15-year-old on Twitter with the knowledge that she was a minor. He was aware of her age, continued to do it. He's a creep. EDL leader Tommy Robinson outed as a child sex pest. Turns out the EDL leader Tommy Robinson likes to abuse young 15-year-old Muslims on Twitter. What a hypocritical scumbag. With the current obsession with pedophiles, which seems to be occupying the EDL's every waking minute, you would think that English Defence League leader and deputy leader of the British Freedom Party, Tommy Robinson, would try and avoid tweeting to 15-year-old girls and telling them they are pretty fit for a Muslim. After realizing that he had made a mistake, you would have thought that Tommy would apologize immediately instead of attacking the schoolgirl by calling her scum and setting his vile followers, the EDL casuals, including EDL Twitter attack dogs, Becky Marsh, on her. But no such luck.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This independent series is made entirely possible thanks to our patrons. It was produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Bohem, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, and Words Greenwood. Not to mention all the other patrons you now see on screen. We couldn't have done this show without you. If you can help support the show, please check out patreon.com/the Serfs to unlock bonus secret episodes as well as get the content before anyone else.